Okay, welcome to episode 629 of the podcast. This is a part 2 to the Yankees 2024 season preview. Part 1, we had Dom Randazzo on the show, big Yankees fan. He gave his opinion, and in this episode, we're having another big Yankees fan joining us to talk. That is Rob Dobek. Different opinion than the first guy. A couple different opinions, and I like that. I appreciate that. So hope you guys do enjoy this show. We're going to dive right into it. Just a few minutes. We are going to get to the intro, get to our trivia, and then after break, we'll dive right into that segment of this show. So if you are watching the video format of this podcast on YouTube or Spotify, this portion, as I currently speak, is audio only, but as soon as we get into the conversation that Rob and I had about the Yankees, that's going to be video. So look forward to that. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to our intro, and then not long after that, we'll get right into the conversation we had. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball. Shaking and baking. Right here on the neophyte.
Trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding.
That is it.
It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay. Yes. Welcome to the podcast, episode 629. Like I said, this is a part 2 to the Yankees 2024 season preview. Part 1, we had Dom Randazzo, Yankees fan, join the show and give his opinion on the offseason, on the upcoming season, on what could go right, what could go wrong. And that's exactly what we got into here with Rob. We also discussed a little bit of other things like Jason Dominguez, a possible contract extension. We touched on Giancarlo Stanton's future, and we got a little bit into the rotation at the end, but this was more lineup based. So let's get into that in a few minutes. I figure we get our trivia out of the way first, so let's do that right now. All right, so for episode 629, our NYY, NYK, MMA trivia question of the day. Name the top 3 singles leaders in Yankees history. Doesn't have to be in order, but name the top 3 singles leaders in Yankees history. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout out in the next episode in front of all 2 of our listeners. So I appreciate you tuning into this portion of the show. Just a couple minutes to let you know what's going down in this one. Once again, Rob Dobek, big-time Yankees fan, is joining the show. We are going to talk Yankees, and hope you guys enjoy this part of the show. Just a heads up, it took me a few minutes to set up and get into the interview, so it might take a second. If you want to fast forward, you can. But with that said, let's head to our break, and then as soon as we get through these plugs, we will get right into the second portion of this show where Rob and I talk Yankees for about 40 minutes. Let's get to it.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. Okay, hold on. 1 second. All right.
Am I coming through?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Cool.
What's up, buddy?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, just recovering from the Ranger game yesterday.
Oh shit, you all at the fucking Meadowlands?
Yep, I went there.
Oh shit. Dude, how was that? Because it seemed like to me that you couldn't even like the seats were far apart from the
They
arena.
were. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a football. It's the football stadium, so like like the rink's in the center of the football field, and it fits. There's a lot more fans there, but it was
Yeah.
fun.
That's all I heard. They came because I was watching and they were losing by a couple, and
Yeah,
then
they came
Oh.
back, and the Rangers came from behind, and like there were Islander fans knocking on us all game, and then they came back, and then the first play of overtime the Rangers scored, so we were like,
shit.
F you.
Wow.
I like the jersey back.
Yeah. This is the Babe Ruth one I got.
Yeah,
They're fucking bringing these back this year though. They're
They
bringing
are.
back. Yeah.
they are. I got I have a Ruth and a Gehrig, like an authentic, like not
Like a real one?
Yeah, no name on the back.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This one is like a ripoff I got for like $35, but it looks fine.
No, it looks legit. It looks legit.
Yeah.
So you're just the Yankees and the Knicks, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I occasionally do it like UFC,
Yeah.
but mainly Yankees and Knicks.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, man.
Yeah. All right.
You go by Rob?
Yeah, Rob. What do you go by?
Whatever. Rob,
RJ?
RJ, Robert, don't matter to me.
All right. Cool.
I only need you for about 20, 25 minutes or so. So,
Yeah, sure, I got time.
all right, man. So I guess I want to start just like with your overall thoughts on the on Cashman's offseason. Just give me your thoughts on their window and what you think they did well, what you think maybe give it a grade and all that stuff.
So if you follow me on Twitter, I am a big hater when it comes to Brian Cashman, and I have been outspoken, and rightfully so, about Cashman over the years. I think that he's made a lot of decisions that have gone the other way. But this offseason, I got to give him credit. I think there was a lot of criticism, and there was a lot of stuff that needed to be done, and I think for the most part he answered it. He answered the door with trading for Juan Soto, and the lineup I think is finally balanced again with the addition of Verdugo and Soto in the everyday lineup. You have a good amount of left-handed hitters again. Although you could say we I know they're still in on Blake Snell and
Yeah.
other guys, but I mean, for the most part, I think he had a good off season. Now, I don't. I know we haven't gotten the long-term deal done with Soto yet, but we all know he's going to free agency. So that. But am I happy with the off season work he did? Yes.
Yeah. Like I would say it was a good job. Anytime you can get 25-year-old fucking, Hall of Fame talent, like
Yeah.
you got to live with that. But
Oh, I'm with you. This guy, this guy has more career walks than strikeouts
yeah, no, he's absurd,
at
dude.
this time right now.
Yeah.
And let's also not forget that not only is Yankee Stadium built for left-handed hitters,
Yeah.
like a Juan Soto, the last couple of years he's played in Petco Park, which is not a
Yeah.
hitter-friendly ballpark, and he was taking all these walks because like they were afraid to pitch to him. So now he's coming to a lineup with Aaron Judge, who is just as scary as him. And it's a ballpark that, he's built for. So like this is it's a no-brainer if you ask me.
Yeah, dude. I think the protection that they're both going to provide each other is fucking huge because you got two guys who, like you said, can walk a ton. They both know the strike zone better than anybody. And then they both got this tremendous power. One from the left side of the plate, the other from the right side. But the thing is, both of them are capable of using any field. So I think they're going to help each other hit. I think the lineup's going to be just fine. Like you said, they finally have this lefty righty balance, bringing in not just Soto, but they brought in Verdugo. They also brought in Grisham, who's going to get some reps. They're probably going to eventually play Austin Wells. He'll probably ease his way in. So they got lefties, they got switch hitters. I love the balance there, man. I think the offense is going to bounce back for sure. I think they're going to have plenty enough to hit in the regular season. And I always say, like in modern MLB, all you need is two big guys at the top of the order doing their thing, and then
Yeah.
everybody else just has to contribute adequately. And I think they have plenty enough for that.
So I think you and I share the same opinions. I think we're both big DJ guys. Like the first 2 years he was here, he was arguably the best hitter in baseball when LeMahieu got here. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to find consistency because he's been playing through injuries these last few years. So right now, I think he's the leadoff hitter going into this year. Like, would you pencil him in for the leadoff spot right now?
I think they might do that. They might platoon. I've been hearing you've been Yankees fans have been talking about the whole righty lefty between him and Verdugo. That's another potential
Yeah.
situation you could roll with. But I think I'll let you talk on it more. But like, yeah, DJ, I have the same sentiments where he's just been banged up the last couple of years. I don't know if he has much left in the tank at this point. If he can give me 270, I'm close to an 800 OPS, something like that. Just make contact, do your
Yeah.
thing, get your base hits. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, man. He's never staying healthy and he's only getting older. So
So I don't know if I told you this, but I told you earlier in the offseason I wanted to move Gleyber Torres
right.
because I want to because so my thought was if we had moved Gleyber Torres, we could put DJ LeMahieu back at second base. And at second base, I think we could get more offensive production out of DJ LeMahieu as opposed to him playing third base. And and then at third base, you could give Oswaldo Cabrera, another switch hitter, a shot to see if he could get the job done, or if not, you could move him if it doesn't work out. But I just because I know Glaber's, he's a free agent after this year, so you're gonna have to make a decision sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I think I was kind of mentioning that like one of the people who run my Facebook page, a couple of us run it,
Really?
but yeah, one of the people who run it put out a post that the Yankees have, I think they have 7 guys expiring this year. So I think they absolutely need to take advantage of that. And Glaber will be a guy who could get you a solid, maybe, starting pitcher. But yeah, I mean, I think Glaber's an idea to move. I've also brought this up before. I think the idea of going after Verdugo was to get a stopgap until Jason returns. And what I think the Yankees are going to do is probably flip Verdugo if the Martian does return when he's supposed to, just because they have the depth. So they're probably going to use some of those contracts to bolster their staff by the deadline. That's
Yeah.
my thought on it.
Yeah, I don't think Verdugo is a long-term Yankee. I do think that I think I think he's going to be a better overall player in Yankee Stadium because again, it's built for left-handed hitters, and I don't. He was the guy that the Red Sox got when they traded Mookie Betts, and I think there was a
Yeah.
lot of like hype around him. Now he's nowhere near Mookie Betts. I can't argue that, but I think that Verdugo is a good contact bat. In all honesty, he's not just a singles hitter. He gets a lot of extra base hits and
Doubles.
yeah, close to 40 doubles last year. And also, the short porch in Yankee Stadium, if he's healthy, he plays 150 plus games next for the Yankees next year. I could see him hitting over 20 home runs.
Yes.
He's still young enough, and so that's another lefty in the lineup. I'm a little worried about Judge playing center field. Not that he can't do it. It's just that's a lot of ground to cover because as great as so of an offensive player Soto is, he is not a good fielder.
No.
And Verdugo's good in left field, but he can't play center field because when he did in the past, it was awful. So basically, until Dominguez comes back, you're kind of relying on Judge to play center field.
Yeah, I think I mean, a lot of people worry about that because he's coming off the injury. He's going to be a year older. So it is a lot of ground to cover. But I think I'm really curious to see. I want to hear your thought on if everybody is healthy by the time Dominguez does return. Who do you play where? Do you think they're going to stick Dominguez in left?
So correct me if I'm wrong. Dominguez is primarily a center fielder, right? Or
Yeah, I think that's the plan for him. I think he's naturally a center fielder. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really see a lot of Dominguez last year. We saw 10 games before he got hurt. I know he got that home run off of Justin Verlander, a future Hall of Famer, so that's a pretty good first at bat. But I think you kind of need to see him more defensively. I do think he's really young and he showed he could hit up with the Yankees, but I still think Dominguez is kind of an unknown because we haven't seen enough of him. But I would try, since it's his natural position, if Dominguez were to return, let's just say July 1st to play the field, I would put Dominguez in center field to see what he can do because that is his natural position. And Judge is a natural. Well, I mean, to Judge's credit, he could play all over the outfield well. But, Judge, you're always going to have to worry because he has injury problems too. So
if you put Dominguez in center, does that mean Judge is going to right and Soto's going to fucking left?
So I don't think Judge has played a lot of games in left field, but I would rather have Judge in left field. And I think you have to put Soto in right field because I think historically the right field position is the easier position to handle. So, but I'm not worried about Judge with I think he could play anywhere in the outfield, but I also heard I saw videos of him taking reps at first base last year for spring training.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've been hearing about that, and I saw those videos too. I think maybe because Rizzo's expiring, so
I think he's got a team option next
he does
year.
have the option. Yeah,
I think we'll get into Rizzo, but
yeah, I don't know if Rizzo's not hitting this year. The Yankees have a lot of options that they can do at first base. Like they've got this Ben Rice kid. They've got there's a lot of expiring first basemen on the market if they have to go there. You're hearing Spencer Jones's name. He played first base at Vanderbilt. You never know.
Yeah.
So there's options if Rizzo down the line this season can't hit. But yeah, the Judge thing's interesting, and I would probably put him in left too if they're all healthy. One more thing on the outfield before we move forward.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. I brought it up a couple times on social media. If Dominguez does come back and he hits, let's say, like you said, from July to the rest of the year,
Yeah.
and he looks like the real deal like he did last year, would you
Yeah.
consider going the Atlanta Braves route, like what they did with their young guys, and they got their contracts out of the way? Like Acuna got 100 over 8. It's like a smaller deal, but it's, they jump on it now because they're secure. Would you consider doing something like that with Dominguez? Like if he comes back and produces?
That's also what Kansas City did with Bobby Witt Jr.
Right.
So that's not a terrible idea. Now, so Atlanta, here's the thing with Atlanta, Georgia, that's a more tax-friendly state than New York is. So Atlanta has a better chance because like 100 million in Atlanta goes further than 100 million in New York
That's a good
based
point.
on the taxes. So I do like what the Braves have done. They've gone to their guys and said, listen, look, we're all young, we're a good core. You guys are all gonna make a lot of money, but let's all sign for a long term. We'll all take a little less so we can keep this thing going. And I think everybody has signed for a little bit below their market value to keep that thing going in Atlanta. But I don't see, I'll never fault a player for getting the money, but me personally, I think you need to prove yourself for more than like a year to get that type if we're talking about a 9-figure contract. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Remember when Gary Sanchez just got called up in 2016 and he lit the league on fire?
Yeah.
Like imagine if we had signed him to like an 8-year, $100 million deal after that
Yeah.
season. We'd like, you know.
Well, hey, look at Hicks after Aaron Hicks's second, third season here. They gave him 8 years, 7 years, 10 million.
7 years, 10 million.
Yeah.
Another player Cashman brought that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Ellsbury.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I would consider doing it because it's not my fucking money. I don't give a shit. But
Oh yeah, well that's true.
I really don't care. But like,
Yeah.
I would consider it. I want to know your thoughts on what you think of Anthony Volpe year 2, if you think he's going to take the next step. Because my biggest thing with him isn't the talent. I think he's talented as hell. It's kind of the way that they bring him up. The Yankees philosophy. It's like very, where it was at least last season, very focused on launch angles and exit velo. And I feel like a guy like Anthony Volpe, who's 5'9", shouldn't be taught the same principles as a 6'9", 6'8", whatever, Aaron Judge. I feel like Anthony Volpe, it's okay for him to hit the ball on the ground because he's got the speed to beat it out and stretch it into a single. I think the way they're bringing up these players and player development, they just need to shake it up more. And there needs to be a difference between certain guys because I don't think you can use the analytics the same way on everybody. And I think that was a big problem for the way Anthony Volpe played last year. He had a lot of strikeouts, and I think that contributed to that.
So, all right, this may be a little bit of a long answer, but I think that the Yankees and their analytic crew have been trying to. They've been insisting on swing for the fences and just go for the home runs instead of playing small ball. But not everybody is built to hit home runs like Anthony Volpe. So to me, I don't know if you have the same views. Anthony Volpe is built to be a leadoff hitter eventually, based on his speed and his size, and yes, he does have power. He hit 20 home runs last year, but really, like, not everybody in the lineup has to hit 30 home runs to succeed. Like,
No.
you got to hold, like, Anthony. So last year, he I don't think he played good enough to win the Gold Glove at shortstop. I understand he played a lot of innings and he played 159 games, I believe, at shortstop, which is a lot. I think he was an upgrade on what we had the previous year in IKF defensively at shortstop. But considering that I think that there's definitely more potential there offensively with Volpe, but but for him to be the leadoff hitter, that batting average, like he hit 209 and had an on base percentage of 283 last year.
Right.
That's not a leadoff hitter. Like if you're going to be a leadoff hitter, and you got to have a 275 batting average and like a 340 on base percentage or above. I don't need Volpe to hit 30 home runs or 100 RBIs. What I do, I don't know. Didn't he steal a lot of bases early on last year, but then stopped for a bit?
Yeah, it tapered off.
So I know stolen bases kicked backed up last year, but I love the fact that he can steal bases. But so an ideal scenario is that he's the leadoff hitter going forward. But again, that batting average has got to come up, and I think it will. Like, listen, it was his rookie year. He played a lot of games. He kept his head up high. He handled the criticism well. So, like, and I mean, listen, this guy was a high draft pick, I believe. So he does have the potential. But I think he swung at so many high pitches last year.
Fastball up.
Yeah, like I think that was at least a third of his strikeouts last year. So so hopefully he could correct that. He corrected that this offseason. But I definitely think Volpe can be a leadoff hitter. And maybe not 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, but maybe 20, 25 home runs, 175 plus hits a year, 40 stolen bases. And, I thought he was pretty good defensively at shortstop. Not Gold Glove caliber, but I thought he was pretty good at shortstop defensively last year. What do you think, like, of Volpe?
Yeah, I thought defensively he was fine. I didn't think he was Gold Glove caliber. He probably wouldn't have won the Gold Glove if the whole Wander Franco thing didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
I think that helped him win it. But he had his arm isn't the strongest. He had some issues with his transfers, but he was fine at shortstop. I think he'll get better there. And like you said, if he's going to hit at the top of the order in the future, he has to get on base more. It's all about the two-strike approach. It's all about it's just, again, like analytics I'm fine with, but the problem, they say that hitting the ball in the air is better than making contact if it's a ground ball. I disagree with that with certain players like Volpe. If you're making contact and it's on the ground, that's okay because he has the speed. He's often been compared to Jeter. Jeter got a lot of his base hits that same way by hitting those ground balls to the left side and beating them out. So work on a two-strike approach. Hopefully he works with this new hitting coach we've got, Rosen, I think his name is. But I think I'll figure it out. And then before we go to the pitching staff, because I think that's an interesting topic I want to talk to you about, real quick, your thoughts on behind the plate, what you think they're going to do. Is it going to be in favor of Wells or Trevino? What do you think the backstop position is going to be like in 2024?
So I think it's up in the air for the most part. I personally, when it comes to the catching, so there are two premier positions in baseball that I'm taking the best defender over the best hitter, and that's catcher and shortstop. So starting with Jose Trevino in not last year, the year before, he had a really good first half, made the All-Star team, and like and like I think Cashman found him out of nowhere in Texas. I think he was like in between the majors and minors, and he brought him here. And you know, honestly, the pitching staff loves throwing to him. He calls a good game. I think he won a platinum glove behind the plate in 2022. I know he won the Gold Glove, but I also
He won the
think
platinum. I think he won platinum.
yeah. So honestly, when it comes to like even if Trevino, I know he was hurt last year. He definitely still very good defensively, but last year maybe it was his injury, but he was not the same hitter he was. And then you know, I know Austin Wells is. I know he was another high pick a couple years ago, and I know he's supposed to be a better offensive hitter than a defensive catcher. But and same with Dominguez. We didn't really see a lot out of him last year. How old is he's? I think he's 24.
Wells?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 24, I believe.
Yeah. So I know ideally you want to have Austin Wells as the everyday catcher, but I think it's up in the air right now. I'm willing to. I think it should be a competition, but let's just say Trevino wins the job and is the opening day catcher. That's not an issue with me because he's great with the pitchers. He's solid. Oh, he's still young, but
Right.
I think long term Wells will be the catcher. Ben Rortvedt, I think he's still in the minor. I think he'll be between the majors and the minors like next year. But I don't know. What's your take?
I would love to see Wells get a shot. I think he's very potent. He's a lefty bat.
Yeah,
I
that's
like,
the other thing.
yeah, and I like the hit tool in him. Unlike with like the last exciting catching prospect we had was Gary. Gary was all about the power, 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 power. I like the fact that all you hear about Austin Wells is he's got a great recognition of the strike zone and he can hit. He's got a hit tool. I would like to see that. I have a feeling, and I'll be fine with this too, that the Yankees are going to favor Trevino out the gate because of the familiarity and because he works great with the starting staff. I think what the Yankees usually like to do, they've been like 50-50 with a lot of their reps. So that's probably what you're eventually going to see happen. And that'd be fine with me. I would just, I think the younger this team is, the more lefties you get in there, the more balance you have, the better the lineup's going to be. So I would love for them to eventually give Wells a legitimate shot at getting some of those reps, and 50-50 would be a good split with me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the Atlanta Braves, they have a very. I think they've spent a little over $20 million between their two catchers, but they have this. But they go by this. I forgot the name of their starting catcher. Like,
I have no idea.
yeah, but they have Travis d'Arnaud as their backup, and he's a really good backup. So, what they do is they do two games, then d'Arnaud starts. So like if they eventually did a thing where Austin Wells gets the job and they play him every 2 games and then he rests and then Trevino takes that third game, I'm down with that. But I definitely back to Sanchez. I think early on in his career he was good enough. Like he had the power, but he settled for the single. Like when he like that. That's what I think is an error in a lot of players' games. Like, there's nothing wrong with settling for a single up the middle. Like, you don't have to, like, if you're facing a guy like Garrett Cole, you're not gonna. The chances of you hitting a home run off of him is not gonna. It's not gonna happen a whole lot. Like, so like really, like sometimes you just have to settle for the single. But a lot of players are stubborn and they swing for the fences and they end up striking out all the time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I want to talk pitching. I forgot to bring up Stanton. What do you think?
I
This,
saw the pictures.
yeah, I mean, everybody does this shit every fucking camp. They say this guy looks great, that guy looks amazing, and he does. He looks good. He looks better.
He does.
What do you think is in the cards for him? Because for me, I kind of think he's done. But if he is in better shape, if he can give me 30 home runs again, if he can hit 240 at this point in his career, that's a win for me. I don't know. He looks like last year, the year before that, he's looked rough. He couldn't even run. He couldn't field. All he could do was swing the bat. And he couldn't even do that properly. But
Yeah.
I've been like, I was a big Stanton fan up until like last couple of years. It's just starting to weigh on me, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell to expect. But he does look better coming in the camp. So
Yeah. I may be the wrong person to ask because I think Stanton has been the guy I've been the hardest on. Like when they traded for him, like I wasn't that thrilled because like he's had an injury history dating back to his days with the Marlins.
right.
So that's always been a concern. And I thought that okay, the first 5 years of the remaining years of his deal will pay for the last five. But
Yeah.
we're on year 6, and his best year with the Yankees was in 2018. But I do think that he's in better shape than as opposed to last year because like he's been in good shape his whole life. Like I heard on the Michael K show that he's consistently had like 7% body fat his whole career. But
Yeah.
like here's the thing though, like when he's not able to run the bases anymore because when you have that much muscle mass on your body, it's harder on your soft tissue parts of your body to hold muscle. And and he tears his hamstring, he pulls a calf muscle. Like I'm not surprised, like because like the human body can only support so much weight on your so much muscle without it like breaking down. But I think going forward, the only way you're going to make it work with Stanton is if he's the DH full time.
I think he should DH, and he should be like 5, no higher than 5. I can't have him hitting 4 anymore. I can't.
No. So I have him in my lineup. I have him starting the year batting 6th in the lineup.
That's what I would love.
Yeah, but he's only 33, right?
30, yeah, maybe 34. I don't know.
So he has. So I mean, listen, as critical as I've been with Stanton over the years, nothing would make me happier than to see him healthy. I'm not holding my breath because, ever since the All-Star game in 2022, even when he's been healthy, he's stunk.
Yeah.
But listen, if he's healthy and can get back in, like if he's healthy the next 2 to 3 years, like healthy enough to play 130 games a year, I think he could still give you 30 home runs,
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing: he hit it. He's 98 home runs away from that magical 500 milestone. But so listen, as critical as I've been of Giancarlo Stanton, if he stays healthy enough to reach 500 home runs, that's a big addition for the Yankees because I think even without Stanton, what we have on paper is great in the lineup right now. So if Stanton's healthy enough to hit 30 home runs this year, I'll take it. But I'm not holding my breath because historically he's had issues staying healthy. But
Right.
I mean, so I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. So we got about 5-6 minutes left. I just want to get your thoughts on the rotation going into the season. This is where I kind of put a ceiling on the team. I really, 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 really don't love the rotation. I think the rotation can be good, but a lot of it's going to depend on health. How does Cortez's shoulder hold up? Obviously, how does Carlos Rodon perform in year 2? That's kind of the X factor for me. I think Stroman will be great here. I actually think all the outside noise is garbage. I think he'll be fine. Cole is obviously going to do his thing. Schmidt, he's fine. Whatever. I think the key to this rotation is Carlos. And I think if this guy goes out there this year and he has a big year, the Yankees have fucking limitless ceiling. But if he goes out there and he's underwhelming again or he completely flops, I think they're done.
Um, yeah, so I mean, obviously, to start things off, we got the reigning Cy Young Award winner in Garrett Cole. So I'll start that off. But so after Garrett Cole, that's where you got to start holding your breath a little bit. I think Clark Schmidt, his first full year in the big leagues last year, he pitched. He had a lot of quality
Fine.
starts. He's young, but like I don't think you could pencil him in any higher than a number 4 starter just yet. So that's Schmidt. Stroman, he's been hit or miss his entire career. They got him at a good buck. I got no problem with that. Cortez, he got off on the wrong foot last year with that injury, and I just don't think he was ever
Right.
able to get back. But I mean in 2022, I think he finished top 5 in the Cy Young voting.
Yeah, he had
If
the
I'm
lowest.
wrong.
I think he had one of the lowest ERAs.
Yeah, so Cortez, he kind of came out of nowhere. Like I think he was he pitched for like didn't he pitch for like 4 or 5 other teams before the Yankees, and then they
Yeah,
picked him
Seattle,
up.
Baltimore.
Yeah, so I don't know. He still I don't think you I, I mean, if he's healthy, I definitely think he could. I don't know. I mean, I think you need to see him do it again. Like, I don't know if I don't know which Cortez we're getting, but if he could be 75% of what he was in 2022, that's a great number 2 or number 3. I'm with you on Carlos Rodon. The 2 years prior to him signing with the Yankees, like they were phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
yeah, but listen, it's again, he's had injuries dating back to his days with the White Sox.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I heard, like Stanton, he's showed up to spring training in better shape, and I definitely think he's got a chip on his shoulder for this year. So I think he's gonna have a bet. He's gonna have a. I mean, he'll definitely. How could you not pitch worse than what he did last year?
Don't fucking put it
mean, like
past
he
him.
had like 3 or 4 starts that were like, "Are you serious?"
Dude, his last start of the season, he couldn't record a single out.
I know, like like, are you? Yeah. So like, I mean, how could you not pitch better from last year, right? But listen, I think that. I mean, listen, I don't think besides Cole, I don't think there's anything to brag about with the pitching staff, but I still think there's they may add somebody else like a Blake Snell, which I don't know. What are your thoughts on Snell?
So we only have 3 minutes before we expire because I don't have the fucking I only have the
No, sorry.
trial. But I would take Snell. He's a 2-time Cy Young winner, man. I know he's been up and down, but I'm taking that
Yeah.
risk. Fucking okay. So you're gonna overpay a little bit for Snell. Who cares? They're gonna be fine. The Yankees are never gonna go broke, man. Like I'm taking Snell at this point. It's
Yeah,
about
I
putting
mean,
a
if you could
World
get him,
Series product out there, bro.
yeah, if you could get him at a good buck, I would. I was
Do you
going to
think he's
ask
gonna
you
do like a
another
one
question.
a 1 year prove it deal?
Yeah, I would. I would definitely. I was going to ask you another one, but I don't
Bauer?
know about the starting pitching.
Do you want you? I know you want Bauer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, he wasn't found guilty of anything.
No.
Yeah. I mean, like, what? Like, bring him to spring training. Like, if you don't like what you see, you could send him home. If you like what
Yeah.
you see, you could. Maybe you got a guy to fill out some innings this year.
Dude, I'm with you. Like I at this point, everybody that was like iffy on earlier in the offseason, I'm like, bring him in because at this point, I really, really would love one more guy, even if we have to make a move for Cease or something later. Like
Yeah.
I like the fucking Orioles just got Burns, man. Like
Oh yeah.
that's a big
Yeah.
deal for us. That's gonna impact
Man,
us.
they're going to be a good team for a long time with those guys.
So yeah, to wrap it up, I real quick, what are your if you were to say what place the Yankees would be in at the end of the year, what place would you say they're gonna finish in?
Because they have the addition, because of Soto, The Yankees historically win because they hit.
Yeah.
I may be a little biased. I think that they'll finish in first place by the
Oh shit!
Orioles, just by a
Really?
little bit because they got more playoff experience on their side, and there may be like a sophomore slump year with the Orioles group. But I mean, listen, I think the Yankees are going to get to the playoffs, but the
Yes.
question is, will they win the
Right.
World Series?
Well, that remains to be seen. Hopefully, man. Hey, I
Yeah.
appreciate you joining the
No,
show,
no.
dude.
Listen, I appreciate y'all having me. I
Yeah, man.
very much admire your views on this team. I think we have similar philosophies.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, that was Rob Dobek and I talking about the Yankees and what's to come in 2024. So I hope you did enjoy. So I think that's it. As for episode 629 of the podcast of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis, that is it. So thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, RJ. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it on social media with your friends. If you are new to the podcast, please subscribe, download these episodes if you enjoy them. Give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Maybe you're watching the video edit on YouTube. Well, subscribe, comment, give us a like. So I appreciate it. With that said, that's all we got. So thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it. Rob was great, provides great insight. So always looking forward to getting different opinions here from other Yankees fans. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you in the next show. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!